my goodness. Has the curse of post-pay-per-view Dynamites come to an end? I must say it wasn't as bad as previous post-pay-per-view Dynamites. We got a world title match. We got MJF threaded throughout the show. We got Kenny Omega, we got Will Ospreay, we got Jon Moxley, we got Wembley, we got Story, we got Build. All leading to a big decision at the end of the show, which is going to give us yet another AEW World title match next week. A little surprising about that one, but you know, good old TK needs the ratings boost. All in all, it wasn't a bad episode of Dynamite. The beginning and the end. It's basically what we're all here for. Everything else in the middle. Paint by numbers, AEW, typical stuff. Nothing really stood out. We also got a new TBS champion. Poor Chris Statlander. The disrespect of Stat needs to be studied. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I am joined by the Chi-Town Smark after he did not want to walk through the forbidden door. So we're going to talk about this Dynamite tonight at the Beer Garden as always. And when I get there on this Wednesday night, it's hot as a motherfucker out there. All I want to know is, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there. It also isn't about excuses. WWE has failed creatively. AEW has failed fundamentally. So why did Triple H lose the plot? Why did Tony Khan abandon everything that made AEW special? Because nobody is committed to the one thing that actually matters: long-term booking. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for your July 1st, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the LTS Beer Garden. Thank you so very much for joining us on this Wednesday evening, wherever you may be, joined by the one and only, the man who would not walk through the forbidden door with me. Chi-Town Smark. Jesse, what's going on, man?
Brother, the forbidden door closed. When the show is over, the forbidden door closed. You don't open your door until after they close theirs.
I reopened the door, man, till at least 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God. How long did you go for?
2 hours.
That wasn't the worst.
No, we've gone longer, man. You and I, for shows like that, we've gone almost 3 hours.
Yeah. My wife and kids needed me. Otherwise, I would have suffered through you. You know me.
I know. It was a arduous task for sure on Sunday night. The last 3 matches saved the show, and in my personal opinion, other than that, there wasn't really anything to dissect or talk about in a meaningful, fruitful way on Sunday night. But those last 3 matches were tremendous. You know, the Swerve and Ospreay match, the Maya World and Mercedes match, which was my favorite match of the night, and I feel the most impactful match, the most important match on the show at the end of the night. And then that steel cage match, I don't think I've had more fun with a steel cage match in years with that steel cage match. I thought that was tremendous stuff. So I know you were not live with me. Those were just some of my brief sentiments for an overall show before we get into tonight's show. What'd you think of Forbidden Door?
So, like, all in all, I mean, I think I agree. There were some matches that I just didn't understand because I didn't know half of the talent in that match, you know. But the cage match, I was not expecting much. But I think the structure of the cage and the way it was produced, I thoroughly enjoyed the cage match. I thought it was very good. I wondered why it didn't go on last until we got the match that we got last. Then I kind of understood why that match went on last. The main event killed. Swerve bled more than anybody that I can ever remember. And I'm not even exaggerating this, man. More than anybody I could ever remember in any match I've personally ever seen.
Well, he didn't really need to. He didn't really need to. He didn't need to bleed that much. Neither did Ospreay.
Well, I don't know if it was an accident or what. I'm just going by physically what happened, you know, how much blood came out. And I'm thinking back to the Flair Dusty Rhodes Day. I mean, bro, I've never seen that much blood come out of a human being in a wrestling match ever. So that was crazy. Whether or not he needed to or not, I know that's your whole thing, but I'm just saying how much he bled in him. I've never seen anybody lose that much blood in a match before. Yeah,
it was pretty crazy, but it goes in line with what Swerve has been doing. You know, he tries to outdo himself and tries to one-up himself every time, which is commendable for a pro wrestler. That's the way you should be, and that's the type of guy you want on your roster. Maya World and Mercedes, what do you think of that, man? I know you and I had discussed that Athena and Mercedes was our preferred match. I think a lot of people preferred that match, but whatever Maya World is selling, man, I'm buying after that match.
Yeah, it was surprising. You know, I knew that she was okay in the ring. Maybe this was a testament to Mercedes bringing out the best in people again. You know, I'm never the biggest fan of this gimmick she's riding with right now, but I'm always down to give somebody their flowers when they deserve it. So she brought, what had to have been the best match of Maya World's career. And the unfortunate circumstance that probably led Maya to getting to where she got in this tournament, I feel like she made the best of the opportunity. So I'm happy for her, and I hope they keep up the push of her going forward. I personally would, if we went this far, why not go ahead and pull the trigger, take a chance? I understand who the safe pick is. That's why it's a chance. But they stuck with Mercedes, went with the safe pick. But I just hope they do something with Maya World. She's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because Tony Khan has comically given us another gauntlet match for the opportunity to wrestle Tekla at Redemption in Montreal. So Maya World is a part of that field, and we will talk about that a little bit later. We have some news on that. But regarding tonight's Dynamite, I was expecting, and typically AEW, they usually come out of these pay-per-views with these post-pay-per-view shows, and they usually don't do anything exciting. They don't really set the table all that well. It's very sloppy, very unimportant. We're usually left with our hands in the air asking, what the fuck was that? Tonight, I thought this was probably, and I don't really recall when the last time there was a decent follow-up to a pay-per-view, but this was one of the better follow-ups, Jesse, to a pay-per-view for Dynamite. And the entire reason why I felt that way is not because of the actual show itself. It's the fact that AEW focused on the biggest thing coming out of forbidden door, and that is MJF and the World Championship. Now, they set MJF up against Mark Briscoe. The reason why we got this match tonight is because Briscoe's team won that steel cage match at Forbidden Door, which is now aptly named Death's Door, is what they're calling that steel cage. I love that name. I think that's a very good, cool name. So Briscoe won that match. He earned the right to wrestle MJF tonight. MJF predictably beat Mark Briscoe. There was nobody that's watching this show that figured Mark Briscoe would become the AEW World Champion. They put on a very good match like they usually do. There was blood and plunder and tables, which is fine. You know, I don't really care about all that stuff. I care about at least getting the sequences in place to where we got to go. And they did that tonight with that. MJF wins. And Kenny Omega is and has been the next in line. They cut a 4-minute vignette that they taped at the end of Forbidden Door, Jesse, where it was Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, and both of them conversing, with Jon Moxley wanting Will Ospreay in the Death Riders. And Kenny Omega comes and kind of just sees what's going on here, and he wants a word with Will Ospreay. And he's confused about why Will Ospreay wants to do this. He sees the patch, the Death Riders patch that Jon Moxley had given him, and he's like, you know, what are you doing? And Will Ospreay's kind of getting defensive, saying that you're not my father. I can make my own decisions. And Kenny Omega's just looking out for him. He just wants to make sure he's all right. He wants to make sure that the decision that he's making is going to be okay and nothing happens to Will Ospreay, because they're very good friends. And Kenny Omega at the end of this conversation said, you know, no matter what you decide to do, you and I are always going to be friends. This is not going to tarnish our friendship. I love you. Take care of yourself. Just watch what you're doing. So Kenny Omega is squarely integrated into this. MJF and Will Ospreay had a face-to-face tonight. And a lot of this is now building towards Wembley Stadium. So with Kenny Omega and MJF, we all figured it would take place at Redemption. And I still think that is probably going to end up being the main event. How we get there is going to be another story. But what they did tonight, Jesse, is not only with the match with Briscoe, they threaded the Kenny Omega aspect throughout the entire show. MJF said no to a match with Kenny Omega after Kenny requested one. MJF goes to the bag of MJF tricks and says, you know what, we've had two people before you kind of succumb to this rule, and now you're going to fall to the same rule as those other two. If you don't beat me, you never get another shot at the AEW World Championship. That is my stipulation for this match. You take it or leave it. If you don't accept it, you're never getting a match with me, period. So Kenny Omega had to think throughout the entire show, and they threaded that aspect of Kenny Omega throughout the entire show until we got his decision at the end of the show. Then we got a Pier 6 brawl, and we had to get these two guys pulled apart, and the match was made for next week at Spring Break, or Breakthrough, whatever, a Spring Breakthrough. AEW World Championship match. MJF will put the title on the line against Kenny Omega, and he accepted this stipulation. Those types of shows, to me, when they focus on the most important thing, and when they have a storyline threaded throughout the show, is a good television show to me. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. Outside that, we'll talk about whatever else happened. But as far as the most important stuff, man, I think they nailed it.
Yeah, this was a decent show, man. It's pretty good. And anytime we get MJF threaded throughout the show, it's a good show. So I'll never complain there. And it was focused. The show was focused on what was going to come next. What was going to be the focus in the stories after Forbidden Door. And we can appreciate that because Forbidden Door had a little bit of a lack of interesting stories going on. But they were focused today. They came right out of the gate. You know, they do lean on this. You either win or you never get a title match again stipulation, but it's always important. You know, it's always big if you have a big name that can never challenge for the world title again. I mean, this seems like a stipulation that Kenny has to win, because what are you telling me? Now Hangman and Kenny Omega will never challenge for the world title again? What are we doing? I mean, I'm assuming he has to win. If not, it's gonna be some kind of finish where Kenny's gonna wind up in the Wembley match in the triple threat with Will Ospreay. I could entirely see that happening. How he get there, I don't know. But it seems like they're gonna have to end this match coming up in some kind of way where it's gonna be decided that he's added to the match himself. That's the only thing I can see coming from this.
I'm going to make a prediction here. We have Redemption coming up this month, and it's at the end of the month, and AEW doesn't really have anybody else lined up for MJF outside Andrade, and I don't see them doing that at Redemption in Canada. I think it all kind of points to Kenny Omega in the main event in Canada against the biggest heel in the entire company in MJF. We're going to get this match next week, and I think MJF is going to win, and I think we are going to sit with the fact that Kenny Omega can't get another World Championship match, but I think MJF is going to cheat to win, and I think it somehow is going to get overturned, or he's going to be granted another rematch at Redemption. And I think at that point, all signs are pointing to a stipulation going in Kenny Omega's favor. And today we heard that today was the last day of Mick Foley's Legends deal with WWE as it officially expired today. He is completely just severed, finished with WWE, and he is now completely with AEW. AEW doesn't have another main event for this show that makes sense outside Kenny Omega in Canada against MJF. So I'm thinking something's going to happen next week where we get another rematch at the pay-per-view. And I think in this case, it's probably going to end up being Kenny Omega choosing a stipulation against MJF. And I think Mick Foley is going to be the special guest referee. And I think Mick Foley is going to be a factor in MJF losing the championship. And I think Kenny Omega is going to walk out of the pay-per-view the new champion. That's my prediction. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's just my prediction. I see that kind of being the package of how it all plays out.
So I have a very important question about the stipulation coming up here next week.
Yeah.
Is the stipulation that if Kenny Omega doesn't win the championship, he can't compete for it again? Or is it that if Kenny Omega doesn't win the match, he can't compete for the world title again? Because there's a distinct difference in the two. Because MJF can end up losing the match via disqualification.
Yes.
Kenny would win the match, not the title, and hence can compete for the world title again.
Yes. I wasn't really paying attention to the wording, but I would assume that Kenny Omega could win the match and not the title, and then we could rematch again at the pay-per-view, or MJF cheats to win and somehow it gets overturned by a higher authority, or in this case, Tony Khan, and then he gives Kenny Omega the power to choose his stipulation, which would kind of lead into the Redemption name of the show, Redemption for Kenny Omega. But yes, I have to go back and see what the actual wording by MJF was.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very important because that is the only way out of this. Not a lot of matches in AEW end in DQ. Plus, if this one did, it would be pertinent to the story advancing. So I would deem it as acceptable as long as we get, a badass match in the process. And this would further the story if the match ends in a DQ in the favor of Kenny Omega, because now he can still challenge. So I think that's important how they worded it. I'm thinking back. I don't remember how they worded it now that I'm thinking.
Do you like the fact that they're giving this championship match away next week on this spring breakthrough show?
It seems like they're in a I don't want to say time crunch, but it seems like it's pertinent to everything going on because we have Wembley coming up soon and we have Redemption coming up soon. I think it's pertinent to us actually getting it. I think it's happening here for a reason. So I want to see what happens after the match.
Yeah, TK usually lines up these gimmick shows, these theme shows with a big match and a big card up and down the card. I also think that this is a strategy by TK to get as much eyeballs as he can on the product with a big match, and this is one of the biggest matches he has at his disposal right now with MJF and Kenny Omega. Get more eyes on the product, the most eyes that you can, in a down period right now where everyone in pro wrestling is feeling it. A lot of people just disconnected from pro wrestling or not watching pro wrestling for one reason or another, and he's trying to make sure that he gives a show that has a lot on the line, and there are stakes on the line, and a big championship match on the line that does have some consequences and some ramifications going into the next show. So I do appreciate that, because when you start doing that, it starts to create a sense of consistency, that one show is of the utmost importance and it has a direct effect on the next show and the next show after that. So I do like that type of stuff. And I wish he would do that a little bit more, because I feel like when the television show has some consequences behind it, it just makes a lot of the show a lot more interesting. So we are definitely going to get that match. I don't mind them doing it next week. I did not expect them to give us this match again, and then maybe again at the pay-per-view, but I'm not going to complain because the first two matches were great. So why would anybody complain about this? And there's story behind it too, which is a great cherry on top.
It is, and there's so much going on with MJF, and they're addressing it all. I mean, MJF is fighting off all comers here and there, and he's got this, he got that, he got Andrade, he's got Will Ospreay, he's got Kenny Omega. I mean, Swerve is still lurking. I mean, there's so much going on, and the thing is, MJF is the absolute best talent you have. So to have all of these different people all focused on him, I feel like it's a good thing, because that just has people paying more attention to MJF and what he's doing and what he brings to the table, and I think it's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So that was the big story of tonight's show. We'll talk about what happened in the MJF Briscoe match in just a little bit at the top of the review. The other big thing that happened tonight is that Tony Khan had to decide a new TBS champion. Now, there was a 6-woman survival of the fittest match. This is basically just a 6-way match with all the women involved at the same time. Single elimination until the last woman remains, and then she is crowned the new TBS champion. The thing is, Jesse, Jason and I talked about this on TNT last night. It is a little weird how we are now crowning a new TBS champion, and they have now just begun giving us vignettes for a returning Willow Nightingale, who was the previous champion and had to vacate and relinquish the championship, which is why we got the survival of the fittest match. And now she's on her way back, and she's going to be back very imminently. So either AEW doesn't know how to time their things correctly, or Willow wasn't as hurt as initially expected, or C, she wasn't hurt at all. And this is just a conspiracy theorist to me. She wasn't hurt at all, and they needed to remove someone from the tournament so that Mercedes could be plugged in there to win the tournament. I don't know. I don't know which one is it, but she's on her way back.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm with you. If she's already coming back, it seriously feels like she was either A, not hurt, or B, not hurt anywhere near as badly as stripping her of the title.
Yeah.
I mean, it seriously, it was like, hey, just take a break, take a few weeks off. We'll write you off and write you right back in. That's what it feels like. I'm not trying to minimize anything if she actually was hurt. All I'm saying was she definitely was not hurt long enough to strip her of the title. You could have kept her off TV for a few weeks and we never would have fucking known the difference.
I know.
We never would have known. I mean, she was not gone that long. It was definitely not worth taking the title off of her. So it just feels like they didn't want to beat her. It feels like they booked her in a situation that they couldn't get out of, and they changed their minds and they needed to get a way out. So they just had her say she was hurt. And that's seriously what it feels like, man. So, but I don't know. I could be way off here. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. She's on her way back. She was the previous champion, but she had to vacate the title. And now we have a new TBS champion in the form of Hikaru Shida. Came down to Shida and Statlander, and Persephone absolutely blasted Statlander in the face with the title because Statlander had eliminated Persephone just moments before. And I guess she got upset and she got mad and she blasted Stat in the face, giving Shida the win. And now Shida is the new TBS champion. I am less than enthused about this outcome. I have not felt any emotional investment in a returning Hikaru Shida. This is not the same Shida that we all fell in love with in year 1, year 2, where she was legitimately the ace of that division. A lot of people are saying that she's undergoing a new character change and she's a heel and she's doing some character work. Bro, this ain't character work. This isn't a heel turn. Nobody is reacting. Barely anybody's reacting to Shida. And the downfall of Chris Statlander in the AEW women's division has me questioning this entire women's division as a whole creatively, bro. Like, I don't understand why she continues to get the short end of the stick. I understand that she might have been a predictable winner here out of all the women involved, but if you wanted to go with somebody who was as sure as anybody to at least keep that title afloat, it was Statlander as a major name, and they opted to go with probably the worst choice out of all of them.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt here in putting the title on Sheeta, making Sheeta a transitional champion. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt in saying that they have more important things lined up for Stat. Look, maybe I'm just really hoping too much here, but and I say that because they already have a program lined up for Stat with Persephone, like right away. Now with Sheeta, what is she gonna do with this title right away? What is she gonna do with it? I don't even fucking know. And I think she's just a placeholder right now, to be honest with you. And I think there's a bigger platform coming up for Stat to win that title, and it could be in Wembley. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think Sheeta may be a short-term placeholder because they just stripped the Willow of that title. I think they might have other plans for Stat. Nobody, everybody here knows how much I really hate how they treated Chris Statlander. So it'd be easy for me to jump on the whole, Stat didn't win, I'm pissed off train. They may be lining her up for something better than just winning it here on Dynamite tonight, but maybe that's just me hoping.
Yeah, the women's division in general in AEW is very weak. Though talented, it is booked fucking horribly. Like, I don't understand what's going on there. The women's tag team championships are as good as irrelevant. Like, they're not even featured on the show anymore in a meaningful way. They're on the pre-show, on the pay-per-views. They're buried on Collision. Like, we all knew and expected that of the tag team championships. We can only hope that Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor do get their match at Wembley. That's where it should be going. And even if they do win, I don't really have hopes for the tag team championships post-Wembley Stadium. But they are a complete waste. The TBS Championship has largely been a waste since Willow went down and since Mercedes lost. That Willow was a great champion, and she's a notable name. But right now, that title is looking very weak as compared to what it was doing before. And Mercedes just won the Owen. She's going to go on and wrestle either Tekla or whoever the champion is at Wembley Stadium, and Tekla's done a great job. The women's division, Jesse, is right now in a bad place, and it's not because they don't have talent. It's just they have so much talent, and then the creative behind this talent isn't really doing anything to accentuate or promote or showcase any of the women in the division in a meaningful way. You have Mercedes, you have Stat, who's a major name, not doing anything. You have Willow, who's on her way back, and Tekla. This is a lot of talent. But the rest of everybody else is so lagging behind that they don't really stand a chance to even, I guess, stay in the conversation with all the bigger women in the division.
Yeah, let's be honest, man. The women have not had a single storyline that was drop everything and watch this interesting since Toni Storm and Mariah May.
Yes.
And that was way too long ago. And it's not that they have not had anyone up to their caliber since then, because Tekla right now is the best thing since sliced bread in the women's division. But they're not doing the most interesting thing Tekla's done was the Forbidden Door build. Before and now after that, we don't know what she's doing after that yet, but pretty sure that it's not going to be anywhere near as interesting as what she did to this poor fucking Stardom owner, who I still feel bad for. This woman bullied this man for weeks, and it was the greatest thing that they've done in a while for the women.
And it wasn't even a storyline concerning their own promotion. It was a rival promotion, or in Tekla's case, a rival promotion. It's a sister promotion to New Japan, which AEW is in partnership with. So it's not even a real storyline that took place on their show. Tekla made it something that was important going into Forbidden Door because they needed to do something to really give the Forbidden Door name a meaning. And Tekla took it upon herself to really do that. So, yeah, the women's division, it's in a rough state right now.
It is. I think the biggest takeaway from Tekla and that Forbidden Door build is that when you give her something that she can sink her teeth into, she's gonna run with it, man. Give her something storyline driven. Give her something that she can take the fans on an emotional ride with. She loves being a heel. I can tell. she feels she's so it feels like she's so far in her element. She loves just playing the absolute bitch. Give her something. Give her a baby face she can play that role with, and everybody wins in that feud. You got to give her something big to play with.
We'll talk about the women's division. We have a gauntlet match coming up, and the winner of that will face Tekla at Redemption, the next pay-per-view. So we'll go over what Tony Khan has already announced for the beginning stages of that gauntlet match, and we'll predict the winner, and we'll go over MJF, Briscoe, and the rest of what happened on Dynamite tonight. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for July 1st, 2026. Thank you guys so much for joining us. So, man, a long weekend, bro. I'm still reeling from all the pro wrestling that we consumed over the weekend. I watched TNA. We watched Night of Champions. We watched The Forbidden Door, a very, very long Forbidden Door show. And then we had Raw on Monday. I had Tuesday Night Titans with Solid Monster on Tuesday. I did Coach with 2 Count on Tuesday morning. And then today, right before Dynamite, I was live on Coachin' Bro with Coachman and Vince Russo, and we debated about Sami Zayn and the WWE Championship changing hands at Night of Champions. Vince didn't like it. I said there's nothing to worry about. It's going to be a transitional reign. It's not harming business in any way. And we had a very spirited conversation about that on Coachin' Bro today. So if you guys are interested in seeing me and Vince Russo go head-to-head, nose-to-nose in regards to Sami Zayn, go and check that out today. It's on Coachman's YouTube channel, BTT Studios. It should be up there right now, so go check that out. I thought I brought some really great points to the discussion, honestly. So thank you guys from the family who were over there. I appreciate you.
I gotta check it out, and I will check it out. I don't mind Sami Zayn being champion. I've seen far less worthy champions in WWE than Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has worked his ass off. Sami Zayn, at the end of the day, is, in fact, one of the best pro wrestlers in the world today. And him being champion is not an embarrassment. They've had worse.
Yes, they have.
They've had much worse. And Sami Zayn can go. Is he your prototypical, big, huge buff, WWE type figures? No. But we've broken that mold with guys like Bryan Danielson already. So it is no longer a thing where you have to. Jinder Mahal was world champion. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, but according to Vince, Jinder Mahal has looked the part.
But that's the fucking problem. That is the fucking problem. The visual and the perception. Look at him. He has muscles. That is the problem. That is telling people to go out and get juiced to become world champion as opposed to getting good in the ring. Get good in the ring and become world champion.
Which is why, I agree. Which is why I brought up the discussion. And I didn't compare them like star power wise, because one's a Hall of Famer from the Attitude Era, and Sami Zayn is going to be a future Hall of Famer. But Mick Foley, Mankind, did anybody look at Mankind as a WWE World Heavyweight Champion in the likes of Stone Cold and The Undertaker and Kane and fucking Rock? No.
Nope.
No, he was somebody that wore a white dress shirt and a black tie with a fucking sock on his hand, and he looked like he was about to go to sleep under the fucking bridge somewhere.
He got himself over. If you can get over with the fucking fans enough, then I can sell you as world champion, even if it's just for a stint. Sami Zayn has worked his ass off on the indies from El Generico to becoming WWE champion. There's a story there, man.
There is a story there.
That alone is a story. That guy has worked his ass off, and he deserves it. Him and Kevin Owens together look like two people who would never be WWE champion, and both of them achieved the top of that mountain. I'm proud of him, man.
Kevin Owens is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yep.
Come on now.
He deserves it, man. He deserves it.
Kofi Kingston didn't look like a world champion. Bryan Danielson didn't look like a world champion. CM Punk back in the day didn't look like a world champion. They were all too small, but they broke boundaries. They changed the game for what you're watching right now. They're the catalysts. So I don't really understand this notion that you got to be big and buff and fucking muscular and you got to look like Hulk Hogan to be a WWE champion. This is a transitional reign. It was a payoff, and that's what you're getting. Mick Foley didn't have a negative impact on the ratings. Sami Zayn's not going to have a negative impact on the ratings. They're not doing anything ratings-wise anyway, so why not take this choice? Why not take this chance? It's, you know... What would you rather do? Who else do you got? You want to go Cody Rhodes and go another 5 weeks into SummerSlam with boring television? Or do you want to put the belt on Sami Zayn and create some captivating television over the next 5 weeks, which is 5 weeks better than what we would have gotten with Cody?
Yeah. You know what else it does, though? It can also be a locker room morale booster, meaning you don't have to be 6'8" and jacked and buffed to be world champion. You can actually be world champion in WWE by working your ass off and getting over. There is no size limit. There's no structure minimum to what you have to look like to be world champion. If you're the best wrestler, and if you can get yourself over with the crowd in any way that you can, you have a shot. You have a chance. So don't sit around and think, well, I can't be champion because I'm not big enough. Yet you can. You fucking can, man. Go out there and connect with the live audience. Connect with the fans. Be good at what you are good. Be good at promos. You could be good at promos, be good in the ring, and be world champion and be a tiny guy. You don't have to be fucking big.
No, I never understood that notion. I think that's just a terrible stereotype. Nope. If you got it, you got it. And when the moment comes, and if it's right, you do it. That's my point. That's exactly what they did with Foley. That's exactly what they did with Zayn. There's no difference. And none of them are going to have a negative impact on the business. None of them.
No, it's not. And look, maybe it won't work out. Then if it doesn't, then we'll make a change and we gave it a shot. But we'll see if it works out. Maybe it does. There's nothing wrong with giving it a shot. And if it's not working out and you drag your feet with it and keep it that way for a year, like Jinder Mahal, then that's just stupid. All right, sometimes you got to pull the plug if it's not working. But give the guy a shot, man. That's all he's fucking asking for. That's all he ever wanted. I watched him on social media. This motherfucker's riding around town with the world title belt in the passenger seat in this fucking convertible, man.
I love Sammy, man. Sammy's great. So go check that out. Me and Vince debate about these specific topics. Really good stuff there. So go check that out. Coach and Bro with Vince Russo, myself, and Jonathan Coachman. Go follow me on social media if you have not done so, at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cameo. Thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. We are getting that ready to go. And exclusive content, going to be going up after the 4th of July holiday. So thank you to everybody that's gone over there and supported the new Patreon page. We're going to be doing some SummerSlam Classic Match reviews and then some other stuff that I'm probably going to be tinkering with. So thank you guys for that. Please hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 600 likes today. Wednesdays are usually slow because Dynamite is not interesting to many people. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. And please go follow Jesse on social media at Chi-Town's Mark and on YouTube. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Link for his channel is down below in the description. So please do that. Anything you got going on there, bro?
We are building a little bit of a name for ourselves in the watch along community. I had no idea that was a real thing until now. I mean, I knew it was a small thing. I didn't know it was as big as a thing as it is. I'm looking at powerhouses like Cultaholic and In the Clutch. Shout out to Ross and Dub In the Clutch, man. And we are keeping pace with them. So I want to send a personal thank you to everyone who I know is here that is subscribed and joins. Thank you to them. And we're going to build off of this community, man. We're not going to back down. We're going to keep on going with the Watch Along community. I got some more plans in mind for it. So if you're not subscribed, join us. Come on over, man. To subscribe. It's fun, man. Sometimes we stay on topic, especially during pay-per-views, but other times we just freestyle it and just have some fun and shoot this shit. And I do interact with my chat. So come on over and enjoy.
There you go. All right, man, let's get into this post-show here. We start things off at the top with Dynamite, and we get a video package of showing the footage from the Forbidden Door on Sunday, Renee interviewed Will Ospreay, who still is covered in dried blood from his match with Swerve. This is taped after his match with Swerve at Forbidden Door. He's with his wife, and he said words couldn't describe how he felt. Moxley interrupted by mistake as he left the locker room. Moxley was willing to go back into the room, but Renee said she'd leave and leave them two to talk. Moxley and Ospreay talked one-on-one. Alex Windsor also left. He asked if he was okay. Ospreay assured him that he was fine, and he thanked Mox for being there for him. Ospreay said he had a question, though, about what he meant when he said a couple weeks ago he was waiting to see it from him. Moxley took a deep breath and said he could define it. If he could define it, he'd have to do it for everybody. He said if he wants him to be the real deal, he has to live it. He said AEW could be something great, but the business has always been for carnies and liars and backstabbers who all pull each other down. It's up to us to protect this place, to preserve the craft. Moxley offered him, at this point, a Death Riders patch. I don't offer this to just anybody. You want to go to war with us, you can ride with us. You can ride with me. You can go anywhere you want to go with this. He put it in his hand, and he said he was proud of Will Ospreay. So he handed him the patch. Ospreay smiled. Kenny Omega then walks up and says, nice patch. He told Ospreay he made him proud, and now he's main eventing Wembley all in. Ospreay told him he's not his dad, and he can see him judging the patch in his hand. He says just because Omega has given up on himself doesn't mean he's going to do that. MJF walked in, and he says he didn't want to interrupt the lovers' quarrel. Omega turned to MJF and said if he survives his match against Mark Briscoe on Wednesday, because this was taped on Sunday, or Monday morning, he's coming to knock on his door. MJF says he'd see him at Wembley. MJF then walked away. Omega told Ospreay that he's emotional and beat up. He told him to go get some rest, and he'd see him Wednesday on Dynamite. Omega says he loves him, and what he has with the Death Riders doesn't top what they have. He said that he'd always be his friend, and for Will Ospreay to take care of himself. I thought this was a great promo, and it really set the table. I like when AEW does stuff like this, and it's really kind of invested, and it's drawn out, and there's a lot of little tidbits in there. I like the fact that Moxley and the Death Riders have welcomed Ospreay into the group. I was a little kind of wary about that, Jesse, when we first got this storyline. We didn't know where it was going to go. I still don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to lead to them just being a faction together, or there'll be like a turn when he wins the title, kind of one of those deals where they're going to lure him in and kind of attack him when he's at his highest and then kick him out of the group. I don't know what they're going to do. But I like the fact that MJF got involved here, and he looked at Ospreay and said, bruv, I'll see you at Wembley, kind of ignoring Kenny Omega. So I like this little triangle that they got going here, because this is exactly what you want to see in the World Championship title picture. You want to see the biggest and the best. You got MJF, you got Omega, and you got Will Ospreay. So 2 thumbs up from me on this. I don't know what you thought about how this was filmed and shot and how everything kind of transpired here, but I thought this was great.
So this, if you would have asked me a year ago if Will Ospreay would be in the Death Riders thriving this way, I would have said that's ridiculously crazy. Why would that be? This is working out. I remember when it happened and everybody was questioning why it's happening. I feel like this is leading to a very, very good blood feud between Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley down the road. The closer they get and the more buddy they become is gonna make it such an epic blood feud when they eventually break them up and they go one-on-one to fight for whatever reason it is that they broke up for. And I can see it. I'm here for it, man. This is gonna be so good. Whatever they do while they're together, fine. It'll be good. But I feel like what's gonna come when they break up is gonna make some epic fucking television, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually going to get to that point. I would assume that it does because it's pro wrestling and it always ends up that way. Yep. But, you know, Tony Khan needs to, and whoever is around him creatively needs to start prepping now. Because everybody knows that Will Ospreay is going to win the World Championship at Wembley Stadium, and he's going to be the guy. You got to start thinking about it now, and you got to start laying the groundwork now about what his championship run looks like when he wins the title. Who is he going to be set up with first? What's going to be his first major storyline? What is it going to look like? Is that going to be Jon Moxley? You got, like you said, you got the makings of a real feud here. It would go back on everything the Death Riders are, but I feel like if you want to do that, there's months of content there that you could do with Ospreay and Jon Moxley. Then you can include Kenny Omega because Ospreay at that point would have no friends. Then you got Kenny Omega involved. Hangman will probably be back at that point too, and he loves Omega, and he went to war with Will Ospreay, and he's got the utmost respect for Will Ospreay. So there is some content there if they want to explore that. So I like it. But Tony Khan needs to start thinking about what his World Championship run in the beginning stages is going to look like now. Don't wait. If this is it, I'm on board because this is some good stuff here. Yeah. So we go from that, Jesse. We go to MJF and Mark Briscoe. They start their show off with the AEW World Championship title match. And this went about 20 minutes. I enjoyed this. Even though predictable, I did enjoy it. We got the typical AEW plunder here. This was not a no DQ match by any means, but there was tables and there were spots here that, you know, we saw the mat pulled up on the outside that exposed the concrete, and Mark Briscoe was bleeding within the first 3 minutes. This was some good stuff here. It gives MJF a solid win over a very credible guy in Mark Briscoe. But in the end, it was very predictable, and MJF ended up winning the championship, or winning the match and retaining the championship, rather. So let's start at the top here. We'll pick it up after the commercial break. Briscoe took control early, stomped away at MJF's head in the corner. MJF landed a sudden spike pile driver, and then started to rip Mark Briscoe's Band-Aid, which was covering his forehead, and starts biting his forehead. He was injured at the pay-per-view, so he bandaged the wound, and MJF reopened the wound. He then set up a superplex. Briscoe blocked it, and he landed on the top rope. He goes for a cover. He gets a 2 count. So we go to Briscoe getting back into it. Flip dive through the ropes. He dove onto MJF at ringside. He continues on the outside. Another flip dive over the rope onto MJF. He begins to pull out a table from underneath the ring. So Briscoe put MJF on the table. He climbed to the top rope. He made the throat slice gesture. He gave MJF enough time to get up off the table. MJF climbs up to the ring apron. He hip tosses Briscoe from the top rope to the ring apron. Nice spot there. So MJF, he is in control. They're exchanging strikes in the ring now, back and forth. He landed, Briscoe did a top rope elbow on MJF. Through the table on the outside. We go back into the ring. Briscoe scored a near fall. MJF draped the boot over the bottom rope to stop the count. Briscoe then set up for the J Driller because this is something that the story was coming into the match. MJF has not kicked out of the J Driller. So he set up for a J Driller. MJF escaped, landed several strikes here. Briscoe clotheslined MJF as he charged at him. Both were down, slow to get up. Briscoe's up. He landed a top rope elbow drop and then the J Driller for a near fall. So we go for a little struggle back and forth here. After that, MJF managed to get up, landed a heat seeker for the relatively clean 1, 2, 3. So MJF wins. He retains the World Championship. He gets a win over a notable name and now can move on to bigger and more important things going into Redemption and Wembley Stadium. So what'd you think of the match here, Jesse? We'll talk about the match itself, and then obviously with the post-match, MJF had something happen here at the end of the match. What'd you think of the actual match between MJF and Briscoe?
The match is pretty good, man. I mean, these guys, I mean, they work great together. MJF has this ability to adapt to whoever he's in the ring with and whatever style they're bringing. It doesn't matter if you're a Bryan Danielson, if you're a CM Punk, if you're a Mark Briscoe, if you're a technical guy, if you're a Kenny Omega. It does not matter who you're with. MJF can somehow match whatever style that you're bringing to said match. And I think that's an overlooked trait of his. He's not pigeonholed to, oh, he's a brawler, he's a grappler, he's a this or that. The guy can literally do it all. I mean, he talks, like a complete a-hole, but let's be honest, man, he's not wrong about his in-ring ability. He is that damn good. Mark Briscoe does Mark Briscoe things. I've been a fan of the Briscoe brothers for a long time. You are a witness to that when we went to the very first All In. And I left us hanging out at that meet and greet to go see the Briscoe brothers in the pre-show because I didn't want to fucking miss it, man. And Mark has not disappointed. To this day, I don't think people give TK enough credit for fighting and vouching for Mark Briscoe to get the spot that he has in this company, despite whoever it was holding him back. And it's sad that it took Jay to pass away before he got that opportunity. But I think Mark Briscoe is making the best of this opportunity. So shout out to him as well. They work well together, and I thoroughly enjoyed the match.
Yeah, Briscoe's great. I know they needed a kind of stopgap between now and All In for MJF. Briscoe was the right guy to do that. And they did at least put some steps together in order for Mark Briscoe to get a shot against MJF. So I don't really mind how everything transpired. I thought the steel cage match was really good. I thought this match was really good. And I'm looking forward to what MJF now does going into Redemption and All In. After the match was over, we got MJF hitting Briscoe with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Omega ran out to stop any further attack here by MJF on Briscoe. So Omega addresses MJF. He's got a microphone. MJF's in the aisleway. He said if he somehow cheated his way through Briscoe, he'd come hunt him down. MJF insisted he didn't cheat. He says if he has all this energy to use in this ring tonight by using that Dynamite Diamond Ring and other objects, you might have the energy for another match tonight. So MJF mouthed, is that what you want? MJF then said he's kicked out of the world-famous one-winged angel like it was nothing. He then told Omega he's a fraud, not a god, so the answer is no. He then paused and says, you know what, Kenneth, I have an idea. I will wrestle you next week under one condition. Omega says, just name it. MJF says if he wants to make a deal with the devil, it's an exploding offer, and he has to answer by the end of the night or he will never get a title match. He says if he can beat Omega, then Omega has to agree to never wrestle for the AEW title again. He dropped the microphone, and Omega was in this pondering phase. What do I do? This is a very interesting offer. I want my shot, but is it enough to put that type of stipulation on the line? So, Jesse, it is if he beats Omega, Omega has to agree he will never wrestle for the AEW Championship again. So, like you said earlier, we could very well go into this match next week, get a banger match, and Kenny Omega could win by a count out or a disqualification, which would not really crown a new champion, but it would get a rematch under the pretenses of maybe we now have a stipulation going in Kenny Omega's favor going into the pay-per-view. And whatever that may be, we'll find out. But I like this.
Yeah, we should see, man. I mean, it's always interesting when someone's putting this stipulation like this on the line. So let's see where they go with it, man. It really does look like they're trying their hardest to make us believe that MJF is going to lose this title. So let's see what they do.
I mean, he could. I don't personally think it's the right move to take it off of him on fucking Spring Breakthrough Dynamite. Even though more people will probably be watching this show next week than the actual pay-per-view Redemption, because it is a new pay-per-view. It's a new IP. They usually start off very slow, and they have to build some credibility for this event if it's going to be a yearly thing. Who knows? He may take the title off MJF next week, and I'll sit here next Wednesday and I'll say it's a shit idea. And I don't really like that MJF had to vanquish the fucking title to give it to Darby, win it back, and now drop it to Kenny Omega so soon after he just won it at Double or Nothing. I have a soft spot for MJF. He's done a lot for the company. He's got two huge fans here. He's been a day oneer. He's been at the top of our lists, respectively, since this fucking podcast started every Wednesday. I genuinely feel like if you don't, and this is just me speaking as JD, I genuinely feel if you don't take MJF and put him on the road to Wembley and have him drop the title to Will Ospreay, it's kind of a disrespectful fucking slap in the face to Max, honestly, after all that he's done for this company. I know Ospreay probably wants Omega, and I know Kenny probably wants Ospreay, and I know Tony probably wants to do that match because he's fucking marking out over just the sheer thought of it. But don't you feel, Jesse, and I said this to Jason on TNT last night, if MJF loses the championship and doesn't walk into Wembley with the championship and doesn't main event and at least drop it there, his career in AEW, what else is there for that man to achieve there? He's done everything. It would almost be, in my opinion, one foot out the door almost. What else is there for the man to do if he's not going to go to the biggest show of the year, main event the fucking place one more time with the biggest babyface in the company? You know, you're going to have him drop it before you get there? What type of respect is that for MJF and all that he's done?
I don't know if I'm booking him as if he's, you know, there's nothing left for him to do and let's finish this and we're done here. I mean, if I'm booking him, my goal is to say he's got years upon years upon years of things to do here. So even if he does not do it here, I mean, the guy is going to be here for a very long time, presumably. Should be the case in what you're hoping for, at least. I don't want to think that they're booking him as if this is his last run or some shit like that. So, but he is the best guy you have. So he should be headlining your best show and your biggest show. That's just plain and simple. You know, Roman main events, WrestleMania, you know, 80s Hogan main events, WrestleMania. Your top guy main events, your biggest show. So I think it should be a foregone conclusion that MJF main events the Wembley show.
I agree. That's a very good comparison. So we go from this stipulation now kind of sitting on the table of Kenny Omega to Renee backstage with MJF. And she asked MJF if he feels prepared for Omega if he accepts the challenge. MJF said, what type of question is that? Number one, I'll get back to that in a second. MJF first said, payback is coming for Andrade. He won't know when or where. He says, as for being prepared, he listed wrestlers he has defeated and a very long list of wrestlers. And he named them all off the top of his head, which was impressive in its own right. So he looked off. It looked like maybe he was, I don't know if he named these off the top of his head or if there was like a fucking whiteboard standing behind the camera. He was just reading off the fucking whiteboard. I don't know. But he named off over a dozen names. But he said Omega is 0-2 against him, and that will not change. He said Omega won't agree to his terms because Omega is literally gutless. Haha. Ospreay walked up to him and told him to be careful or you'll break your neck sucking yourself off like that, says Ospreay. He asked him why he made that stipulation. MJF says, well, it's because I'm the champ and you're not. He says he will see Ospreay's pale ass in Wembley. He walked away and left Ospreay there with Renee. I said on social media, if you guys need any indication about what the real main event for Wembley Stadium is going to be, it's those two guys right there with the tension right there. You could cut it with a fucking knife and the interaction between those two. Better than anything we've gotten with Omega and Ospreay so far. Just my take. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. Bruv. We got Tony Schiavone on the stage and introduced Andrade El Idolo. Andrade's out there cutting a promo. Says he's done with the Don Callis family. Now he's going after MJF and the world title. So I have one question. How you know? How you know, Jesse? How you know?
That's the dumbest shit, man. Fans starting to get over.
Fans were legitimately chanting, how you know? How you know?
So stupid.
So Jake Doyle, Lance Archer, and Brian Cage all attacked Andrade from behind. Don Callis is out there as well cheering them on. They dragged him to the ring. And they beat him down in the ring. And the Don Callis family got some level of revenge after Andrade had turned his back on the Don Callis family. Cage gave him a drill claw. Callis said on the microphone that he had something important to say. Get this piece of garbage turncoat out of my sight because Kevin Knight has a match to win. Who's Kevin Knight wrestling? He's defending the TNT Championship against... It's fine. It's fine, Jesse. It's him. Leo Rush, Jesse. Leo Rush.
another gimmick that is somehow getting over. I don't understand it.
He's fine, my precious.
As he's got black goo dripping from his face and his mouth and anything else over there, you know? Yeah, it's getting over, man. Listen, I wasn't sold on it, when I first seen it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then, they give no backstory as to what this gimmick is or where it was born from. Who is he? Who's him? Who's he talking to? Then he wrestles the House of Glory, and we're still questioning on commentary. Who's him? Who's he's talking to the turnbuckles? He's talking to the title belts. Bro, this shit is fucking growing on everybody, man. This is catching fire here for AEW.
I give Lio Rush credit. Because he has been in this business a very long time and he put in his work, and he's finally had something that is really, really catching on, and I'm happy for him. I really am. I just personally don't like it myself. That's all.
It is a little out there, but to get something over like this, you gotta live the gimmick. You gotta be in the gimmick at all times. You gotta be on at all times. You gotta be consistent, and he's doing that. We all thought Danhausen was an AEW gimmick, and they were going to run with Danhausen, the curse thing. And, he started off in AEW doing his thing. They dropped the ball with him. WWE has put a fucking $sign over him and are monetizing the fuck out of him. And now they got Lio Rush, and I think Tony Khan sees what's going on with Danhausen. And I think the reason why we're seeing Lio Rush a little bit more often, and we're seeing some of his antics, and he's kind of coming out of gym bags and he's doing things with the conglomeration, is because he's trying to kind of capitalize on what he probably fucked up on with Danhausen. He's got that in Lio Rush now. It's not the same, but it is entertaining. And additionally, Jesse, AEW, they don't really have a lot of characters. The biggest character in AEW is probably Toni Storm in their history, and she's done it so beautifully. And now they got Lio Rush. They could absolutely use more characters, because I think characters are what really is going to draw the fans in. Fans want to be invested in characters. You could see a great pro wrestler on any fucking channel, any show during the week, but the one thing that's going to remain in the back of your mind is, oh man, that guy's got a great fucking gimmick,
It's very true.
We'll see. I don't know. Jesse's not big on. I'm getting there. But I see what they're doing.
I do like out there characters. So it's not to say I don't like this because it is a weird out there character. I'm not opposed to that. I just don't like this particular one. That's all. I'm all for a good fucking gimmick, man. I'm all about pro wrestling, just about everybody else is. But this one, I'm just not a fan of personally. That's all.
Well, before we got this Kevin Knight match with Lio Rush, we had a vignette with Mercedes Moné, who looked to be on a yacht somewhere, on a pier or a dock, and she's dressed in a bathing suit. She says she was on a port and brag that she wins titles anywhere she goes. Dreams don't win championships. I do. She held up the Owen Hart Foundation belt, and the camera lingered on her a little bit too awkwardly for too long, and then she started laughing to herself, and I had to turn away because I thought this was kind of cringy, but she's going to Wembley, and she didn't win the tournament. Kevin Knight, he went one-on-one with Lio Rush here. This went 9 minutes. Wow. Kevin Knight match going under 10 minutes. I'm shocked. Legitimately. We'll pick it up after the commercial break here because there wasn't really much to this. Lio was on the defensive here. He came from behind. He got a 2 count on Kevin Knight. Doyle pulled Kevin Knight to safety by the boot and pulled him out to the ring, or out of the ring. Lio leapt off the top rope at Doyle. Doyle caught him and threw him into the ring post. Knight then landed a leaping clothesline and threw him back into the ring. He then landed a springboard lariat. Kevin Knight followed up with a crash landing for a 1-2-3. 9 minutes, he retained the TNT Championship. This was just a match made because I guess Tony Khan wanted to follow up on the momentum of Lio Rush being in that steel cage match, and he had a very entertaining spot in the steel cage match where he came out of Roderick Strong's gym bag and he got into the ring and terrorized all the Don Callis family, including MJF, as he pointed to MJF's ring. Yes, Gollum. They did a Gollum reference with Lio Rush, so that's what happened at the pay-per-view. Darby Allin, who's been feuding with Kevin Knight, came out after the match on the stage. He says he wants a shot at the TNT title. Okay. Let's win some matches, and then maybe you'll get a match. He says if he says no, what happened at Forbidden Door will keep happening. He says he started it, so now he will finish it. Kevin Knight says he's tired of dealing with him and his jackass stunts. As he was about to offer him a TNT title match, Don Callis said, no. What are you doing? We don't do that. Callis said Darby has been a great wrestler and a champion, but at the pay-per-view, with that little stunt he pulled where he almost killed Kevin Knight, you crossed the line as a wrestler and you went from wrestler to criminal. And Don Callis' family says, or Don Callis says that he should be in jail and he doesn't reward criminal behavior. He says, therefore, he'll never get a shot at Kevin Knight. And Darby says, well, Kevin Knight's going to end up digging his own grave. Don Callis says, you should be in a jail cell. He called him a psychotic criminal, and he says he has a family behind him, and he'll protect Kevin Knight at all costs. Speedball Mike Bailey, by the way, was shown watching this all unfold in the crowd. What do you make of that, Jesse? You think Speedball feels sorry for Kevin Knight?
I don't know. The hilarious part is I was just asking before they showed Mike Bailey. I literally said out loud, where the fuck is Mike Bailey? Why does he not care about Kevin Knight turning on him and ending his team like this? And because they never really got into that very much, did they?
No.
Did they have a match? No. It feels like the natural course of action, the first stop for Kevin Knight should have been Speedball Mike Bailey.
Well, this is what I said weeks ago when they gave you the match legitimately the week after he turned on Darby. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Why didn't we save that for redemption? That would have been a great redemption match. Now they're looking at 2 months before we get to Wembley, and they're already teasing a Darby and Kevin Knight TNT title match when that theoretically should be the TNT title match at Wembley Stadium, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't get it. I don't know.
So that's what's going on there. We got a little tease between Kevin Knight and Darby Allin with Speedball Mike Bailey watching from the crowd. Does he feel bad for Kevin Knight? Does he side with Darby Allin? I don't know. Kevin Knight was a dick to Speedball Mike Bailey, so why would he want to side with Kevin Knight? Maybe Speedball ends up joining the Don Callis family for all we know. Who the fuck knows? You know, they just kicked out Andrade. They need to replace him somehow, right?
That would be so... That would be so weird.
You got to cycle him in and out, man. You can't take a break. You lose one, you got to add 2 more at least.
Jeez.
We got a clip of Collision. Yes, Collision. Jericho beat JD Drake. The fake JD, by the way. JD Drake. And then he called Shivani into the ring. Shivani said that Jericho is better than Ciampa, as he had Drake and a lion tamer. So we saw this happen on Collision. If you guys missed that incredible, exhilarating, thrilling action, I'm not surprised. Renee then interviewed Tommaso Ciampa, who said Jericho is a bully. He told Renee what to say, but she would not say it. Jericho threw a plastic trash can at Ciampa from the side and starts hitting him with plastic chairs. He dragged him into the parking lot area. Ciampa takes control here. We got Ciampa shoving Jericho into some tables that are outside. He takes a shopping cart and he throws it at Jericho. And Ciampa tried to use an electric drill at one point on Jericho's face, but Jericho blocked it. It was at that point security came and started pulling them apart. Yes, the good old backyard wrestling fiasco, Jesse. We got drills and fucking shopping carts and plastic fucking chairs. It's like, oh, God.
It was an 18-volt DeWalt.
Oh, was it?
18-volt DeWalt impact driver. That's a
what do you think they were using that outside for?
Building the ring, probably.
Oh, probably? I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. Anyway, that's taking place next week. It's Ciampa versus Jericho at Spring Breakthrough 1-on-1. So we go back to Renee in the locker room. She's all over the place. She's with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, who was talking to the Bucks. And they were asking if he made a decision yet. Matt Jackson says they need to discuss this more because they really care about Kenny Omega's career and future. Nick Jackson said, Kenny's got it. Don't worry. He's the best bout machine. He's the best wrestler in the world. Matt says he didn't want to see another elite member get blocked from the world title. Omega says it's important to him to think this through. He asked what would be left for him if he lost a chance to never wrestle for the title again. He said years ago he needed help. And he went to a dark place to get the job done. And he didn't like who he was in the mirror. If he takes this match, he wants to do this on his own, and it would be win or lose on my own. I got some big thinking to do. Again, this was paint-by-number stuff, but it was a segment backstage that went along with what we saw in the first 3 segments of this show. So I like that they're kind of spreading it out in between. We got the beginning where MJF gave Omega the stipulation and he has to choose and ponder on it. Now he's with his friends pondering about it. They're talking it over. And then obviously at the end of the show, we see Omega come out and give us the answer to MJF's stipulation. So I like this. These are the shows that I feel are best produced and best booked, when you got storylines kind of weaved in throughout the 2 hours. We need to see more of that. So good stuff there.
Yeah.
We got something that really shouldn't have happened on the show, and I don't really know why Tony Khan booked this, but Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay teaming together against The Swirl, Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. It seemingly feels like, Jesse, that every time there's a post-pay-per-view show, The Swirl finds themselves on the show in some way, shape, or form.
Let me get this straight. The Swirl was on our television screens, and you have a problem with it.
I do, because it was a waste of my time.
No. Fuck you. The Swirl was on our TV screens, buddy.
Well, let me rephrase that. Lee Johnson was on our TV screens. I could care less about Blake Christian.
All right. But is these the Vanilla Baby?
Who?
Okay.
Vanilla Ice?
No, that guy's
Mr. Softy?
Somewhere performing at the White House.
Master Softy? What type of ice cream trucks you got out there? What kind of brands you got out there? Good Humor?
Anytime I can get Big Shine on our TVs.
Ben & Jerry's?
It's a good day.
Friendlies?
The Swirl, man. What's wrong with you?
Tillamook?
The what? Shit.
Edie's ice cream? What are you talking about?
It's the Swirl.
Any other ice cream brands I'm missing, chat?
I don't really do ice cream.
No? You lactose intolerant?
I am, but I'm also not a big sweets guy.
They have non-dairy frozen desserts. You know that?
Yeah. Like frozen yogurt, something like that.
Yeah. Still not for you, huh?
No, I'm not a big sweets guy. My family will tell you, I'm not a big sweet.
What's your go-to dessert when you want something sweet? When you want something that's kind of like a dessert at the end of the night? Like you go out to a nice dinner, do you have a dessert?
Maybe a slice of cake, maybe something like that. Maybe.
Can't be cheesecake because you're lactose intolerant.
I'm not cheesecake. Mm-hmm. Maybe just
carrot cake.
If you're making me pick something, I don't know. Like,
tiramisu.
Nah,
red velvet. I'm not talking about the red velvet, Tony Brown. Okay, get your mind out of the gutter, bro.
I would love to have some red velvet. That'd be great.
Oh my god, man! The ultimate dessert, man. Red velvet, huh?
Great stuff. Smooth, creamy. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's move on. We're moving on here. Ospreay and Moxley win in 10 minutes, man. Here's my shocked face. Thanks for coming.
So they're just doubling down and establishing the bond between Moxley and Will Ospreay, which is gonna make their blood feud down the road whenever it comes even more impactful.
What do you think about redemption, bro? We got, obviously you're not going to leave Ospreay or Moxley off the show. Tony Khan always feels like he's got to book them on the show. I feel like he'll include them here going into the next pay-per-view. What do you think? The final test before Wembley. We do Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley as like a friendly one-on-one here. He's got to pass the ultimate test like he's achieved Mortal Kombat. He's gotten to Shang Tsung at the top of the fucking mountain. And he's got to beat Jon Moxley to get the approval from the rest of the Death Riders that he's ready for Wembley Stadium. What do you think about
that? I think they're cooking up something with these guys. Which is the best feeling ever, because it's gone from they're just throwing darts at the wall to see what sticks to it looks like they have a vision lined up for this whole fucking Death Riders Will Ospreay thing, and I'm here for it. I want to see where this goes. I'm legitimately interested in where this shit goes because it looks pretty good right now.
We got Adam Copeland and Christian Cage backstage with Lexi Nair. This was from Sunday night. Christian says he never doubted they leave as the tag team champions after beating the Dogs at Forbidden Door. But he did ask, what is the deal with Jay White, though? Copeland says White owed him a favor, and now they're even. Christian says, before White got hurt, he had a problem with him, and I still do. And he walks away from Cope. Christian walks away. Copeland acted like, okay, goodbye to you, too.
He's like, fuck is your problem?
Christian doesn't like Jay White. I don't know what's going on there, but
continuity.
I know. You can't hate on it. They're picking up where they left off. It's a long time ago, and people probably don't remember it, but they did have a run-in. Yeah.
Are there any reports of someone being added to the creative team or something like that in AEW recently?
No.
Continuity.
No, even if they did add somebody, they wouldn't let you know because Tony Khan books the entire show all by himself.
That's just true.
He wears. He's a man of many talents and many hats in the company. You know. But Cope and Christian, what happened?
I don't want them to think we're not noticing that's continuity.
Listen, man. You after you strike out 3 or 4 different fucking times, man, you at least got to get a single. You know.
You got to hit it sometime. They're hitting somewhere, man.
Cope and Christian will be defending against the Bucks, and this month's going to be very interesting because there are a couple of talents, a couple of tag teams that are nearing their 90 days coming due. New day.
Ooh.
We got some Detroit fellows as well, more than likely making their debut this month. You know. Tag team title scene could be on fire as hot as ever in AEW. So we don't know what that tag team title match at all. It could be the Bucks. It could be Cope and Christian. It could be New Day. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Could be.
Speaking of tag teams, we got Switchblade. Jay White is back. He's joined in the ring by the Guns, Ace Austin, and Rock Hard, Jesse.
Yes.
Juice Robinson. They are finally back at full strength, which is something that has been just absolutely just not a thing. You know, it's like when one guy gets back, 2 others get hurt. So now they're finally back at full strength. Jay White says he's been out for 459 days. Holy shit. The fuck was wrong with this guy?
Right.
He talked up the Bang Bang Gang. He says they're back together because somebody let the dogs out. So he yelled, "Who let the dogs out?" And the crowd barked. He talked about the dogs. He said he and David Finlay go way back to New Japan Pro Wrestling in the dojo in 2015. He says there's a lot of history to unpack. He says he's known Finlay for a long time. And he has to admit he's never come across someone so naturally gifted who picks everything up so seamlessly and effortlessly. He said Finlay was born into this business, a 4th-generation wrestler, now raising a 5th. He says it doesn't change that he's a Nepo baby bitch.
Gimmick infringement.
Yes. So fans chanted Nepo baby. Guns, they were kind of enjoying themselves here with this chant. White said Finlay said they're now in AEW. It's time to clear the air. He says he's a cut above, the catalyst of pro wrestling. This is the Switchblade era still. And he says if they're not down with that, they have 2 words for him. Guns up. I like the Bang Bang Gang. And I'm a big Jay White guy, you know?
Me too.
And we're big Guns guys, too.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But what followed this is not the most exciting, thrilling thing to follow up with. We got this promo. They're more than likely setting up for a match between Jay White, David Finlay, or worst case, a multi-man match, 6-man tag team match at the pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium. I'm sure they'll all be featured in some way, shape, or form together. But Shane Taylor Promotions is cutting a promo, and apparently Shane Taylor says that they're the new gang that runs Collision, Jesse. Like this is some big deal, man, to be proud of. They run Collision.
And you guys wonder why I don't watch Collision.
Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine sitting there with your notepad, bro, watching Shane Taylor Promotions on Saturday night?
Yes, I can.
Yes, you've done it before.
Yeah, and I was thinking about doing it again tomorrow.
Were you?
I was.
Well, let's go over the card for Collision at the end of the show. Don't rush to Thursday Night Collision over here. TBS title match. This is a survival of the fittest. So we have the vacant title on the line and 6 ladies here competing for the right to be the champion. Statlander, Sheeta, Persephone, Micah, Jesse. Micah is in the match.
My chat called this survival of the thickest.
Yes, with Statlander, Persephone, and Aminata in there, yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know? And Harley Cameron. Can't forget about Harley Cameron.
Hey, don't no Sheeta disrespect, man.
Who?
Sheeta's been working out.
She's working out.
She's been working on something.
Where's she working out? Super Mario Galaxy? Where's she working out? Fuck out of here. Persephone, Sheeta, Stat, Micah. Don't know who that is. Sounds like a fucking Pikachu or Pokemon. Harley Cameron, Queen Aminata, survival of the fittest. Pika Pika. Listen, this.
How'd that go again?
Who? What?
How'd that go again?
Pika Pika.
Okay.
That's what they do. Harley Cameron was eliminated first. Shocking. Persephone and Statlander go at it. Sheeta was able to get a rolling pin on Micah. She's gone. Aminata, who I thought was going to win this thing, she got a rolling fisherman suplex on Sheeta for a 2 count. She went up top. She was cut off by Persephone. Persephone ended up eliminating Aminata, rolling her up for a pin, and then mocked Aminata. Aminata could not believe it. Persephone mocked her with an L on the forehead for loser. So this elimination really kind of pissed off a lot of people because she was actually a favorite to win this match. But Tony doesn't deem her worthy yet. I don't know what she's got to do. She's got a great look. You know, she's got a natural charisma to herself. She looks different than everybody else, right? But why not take a chance on Queen Aminata, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
Persephone was eliminated. Sheeta went to go do a Falcon Arrow. She nailed it, 2 count. Sheeta grabbed the TBS title, wanted to use it. Statlander ducked with a big boot, looking for Wednesday Night Fever. But both ladies trade roll-ups, and Sheeta finally rolls through and delivers an ankle lock. Statlander crawled to the apron where Persephone was still hanging around the outside after getting eliminated and took the belt and smashed the TBS title over Stat's face, allowing Sheeta to pull Statlander back into the ring, and the referee called the match after the ankle lock was applied. Sheeta eliminated Stat to win the TBS Championship, and we have a new TBS champion.
Yeah, we do. We do. So I had Stat picked, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I got a feeling something's gonna go wrong. She didn't win, but I will say, the fact that they've already started the reason why she didn't win, they've already started her feud with Persephone. I want to see where this shit goes. They didn't just have her lose and just going to toss it to the wayside. They're going to push her and Persephone. I'm hoping she overcomes Persephone and she gets her title shot on a bigger stage than tonight. So,
what do you think they do? What do you think they do? Persephone versus Statlander at Redemption?
Maybe not Redemption, but I mean that's not a pay-per-view worthy match. But she has a feud to start working on, at least to tie her over until they get her to where they want to put a title on her.
Maybe they need to give her a fucking story so that we can actually invest in what she's saying and the character that she's trying to portray on television with you know whatever they have going on here. Because if you send Statlander cold into another feud, I don't really think people are going to find themselves interested, Jesse. That's the problem.
Agreed, 100%, man. They need to invest some time and effort into her. 100%, yes.
I don't know. We like Stat. We want to see her do well, but it seemingly seems like she gets the short end of the stick almost all the time. So we got Beach Break, or I thought it was Spring Breakthrough. It's Beach Break. Sorry, Spring Breakthroughs, Beach Break, same thing. But Dynamite features Beach Break next week. Takeshita versus Fletcher for the international title. We got Jericho versus Ciampa. We got a women's casino gauntlet match. And we got the world title. MJF versus Kenny Omega, which is the final segment of the show. Omega gave us his answer. So before he goes out there, Ospreay confronted Omega right behind the curtain. He says, even though he would love to wrestle him at Wembley, it's not a good idea. Omega took issue with him not believing in him. He says he was going to go out all guns blazing, and he hoped he had his support. They hugged, and he makes his way out to the ring. Omega says once he gets to the ring, he's wrestled more than half of his life, and there's been no greatest passion or pleasure than stepping in between the ropes and giving fans everything he has. He said whether it was when he was 14 years old or a 42-year-old broken down man, he still gets the same 100% Kenny Omega every single time. He says he's won titles and broken records. He says he could look back on his records fondly, but there's a selfish part of him that he thinks there's still a little bit left in the tank. He says there's a part of him that believes, and if the Bucks can believe and the fans can believe just one more time, then he knows he can be the champion each of them can be proud of. He says he can represent AEW at Wembley proudly, but if he fails, he will become just like Hangman. He will become just like Cody. A Cody reference here. Oh boy. Let the internet run with that. Another man who cannot challenge for that belt again. He says the question is whether the cost is simply too high. The answer is no. He said if MJF wants him to put it all on the line, there is one possibility MJF hasn't considered. He says he is still the same person they call the best bout machine, the cleaner, and the god of professional wrestling. He says he can't lie, though. To have one more chance to beat the brakes off of MJF when he's still healthy and gets the blood flowing. So yes, I accept the offer. He told MJF to get ready to pass over what has been rightfully his since the last time they wrestled. And then he closed with his good night, goodbye, bang. MJF jumped Omega from behind. He pulled out of the ring and then charged Omega. Omega tackled him and punched away at him, ground and pound. Security quickly ran out, pulled him apart. Omega broke free. MJF is breaking free, and he's yelling at Kenny Omega, saying, he's the best in the world. He's the best in the world. And fans are chanting for Kenny as the show came to a close. Proper ending, Jesse, to what we got as far as the story was in the beginning of the show, setting us up for next week.
Can't complain.
Can't complain. Can't complain. They did what they needed to do. They set up Beach Break for a big show. They did what they had to do.
You notice they had a chance to mention both Cody and Punk tonight, and they only mentioned Cody.
Why would Punk be mentioned?
MJF was running down people that he beat.
Oh yeah, that's right. You didn't mention.
He didn't mention Punk at all. That would be a name to mention right there.
Well, I mean, Max is not going to mention the biggest star of the company in the opposite brand's company. You know, it's like
just mention Cody.
Public mention. Well, Cody left supposedly on good terms, and he's still friends with all the elite, and is highly respected.
Yeah,
Punk in AEW, not so respected. So that would have been something, though.
Yeah,
it is a big win for Max. Anyway, that's the Dynamite that happened tonight. Again, outside the world title stuff, not really much to dive into here. But Collision is airing. I think they're taping it tonight, or maybe it's live tomorrow. And then I don't know. There's a lot of matches tonight to tape. So whoever is in the building for this show has a lot of matches to sit through. So if it's a tape show airing tomorrow, this is what we're looking at: Andrade versus Brian Cage. Bang Bang Gang and Adam Copeland versus Shane Taylor Promotions. The Death Riders, Claudio and Pac, versus Unbound Company from New Japan, Shingo Takagi and Drilla Maloney, Jesse. Drilla Maloney.
All right. That's a name.
Athena goes one-on-one with Rena. Who? I thought that was Mina for a second. Rena. So we have a Mina and a Rena, Jesse.
There you go.
That's number one spot in the women's casino gauntlet match on Dynamite. And then Maya World will wrestle Julia Hart for the number 2 spot on Dynamite. So I'm assuming they're going to end up with Athena and Maya World, being that Maya beat Athena in the Owen semifinal. The Demand will be in action.
Oh, boy.
Thunder Rosa and Mina Shirakawa will be in action. Tag team action. Speedball Mike Bailey, Mystico, and Bandito versus the Rascals. And then Kyle Fletcher will go one-on-one with ELP, Jesse. El Fantasmo.
No, right?
Sounds like a Collision Corner worthy show, don't you think?
David Rice was there live tonight.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, he's there. So he stayed for the Collision taping.
So Dynamite next week is a big show, man. 7/8/26 next week. MJF Kenny Omega world title. If Omega loses, no longer be challenging for the world title. Jericho versus Ciampa, 1-on-1. Takeshita versus Fletcher, international title, and then the women's Casino Gauntlet match for a shot at the women's title and Tekla at Redemption. Big show next week. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, man.
There you go. That's your Dynamite. If you guys enjoyed tonight's stream, I would really appreciate some support here. We had 1,300 people in the chat. We got 472 likes. If we could get that to 600, I would really appreciate that. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Chime on in. We're going to read your super chats. I'm going to get out of here. Jesse's going to get out of here, and I'm going to jump on some Iron Banana on Destiny 2.
I got my Iron Banner done already.
I am one level away. I'm what's the last reward? The shader?
I'm not sure what it was on there, but I was only in it for the bow. And
the point of the stag.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a good roll yesterday, bro.
Yeah, I got the Dragonfly Volt shot.
Oh yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, got that one. I'm good.
I want that new auto rifle, man. What is that new auto rifle? That Void auto rifle?
The Iron Banner one?
Yeah.
I got the Iron Banner. I got all of the guns and the rolls I wanted. The bow was the one I couldn't get, and I got that one too.
Oh, well.
But for the most part, the PvP rolls. There's a couple of PvE.
Everything I look for is PV.
Yeah, but they're mostly PvP guns because like the range and shit like that's insane on the Iron Banner.
Yeah, everyone using the same weapon, bro. Everyone's got a fucking hand cannon or like a Iron Banner hand cannon. They're using fucking Last Word. I seen some fucking geek using the Jade Rabbit after I got buffed. I'm like, get the fuck out of this game, you fucking loser. You know,
bro. I've been using the Chattering Bone, the Last Wish pulse rifle, and it is slaying. The range and it. Pick up a Chattering Bone. Try it one match.
Bro, I tell you what, I've been using, man. The 7 Seraph auto rifle, man, that shit fucking slaps. There's literally no recoil, bro.
Laser, yeah. Yep.
Anyway, that's what I'll be doing. Let's get through these super chats again, guys. Patreon. We just launched the new Patreon page, reworked, redone. It's called the Off the Script Tap Room. So make sure you guys go there. We'll get some exclusive content up after the 4th of July holiday, and we're going to be reviewing some classic SummerSlam matches voted on by you. You guys gave me a list of matches. We're going to throw some up in a list, and you guys are going to vote for what we're going to watch, one per week as till we get to SummerSlam, and then obviously some new content there. I know me and Jesse last week floated that we may end up covering Lucha Underground. I think that would be a great idea for either the Patreon page or here on YouTube. So yeah, there's some ideas. We just got to put it all together. I want to give you guys some content in the dead of the summer. Nobody's really interested in pro wrestling, so if we kind of think outside the box here and kind of get through the summer, get through SummerSlam, and everybody's kind of back to doing their normal every day, it'll work. So let's try and figure it out. So go over there. Link is down below in the description. Please hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment. Follow me on social media. You guys know the deal. And go check out all the content. We were live for Tuesday Night Titans, Monday Night Raw. 2 Count with the Coachman, and I was on Coach and Bro today with Vince Russo and Jonathan Coachman. We discussed Sami Zayn. Great show, great discussion. We both brought great points. Love Vince. He's always been nice to me. Love Coach. Love working with him. So happy to mix it up with those two guys. Both are legends, no matter what you think of them. They got so much real estate in this thing we all love, and Vince is a smart guy. So's Coach, and it was great discussing that with them today, so go check that out. We're going to start at the top here. Let's see. We got Michael Krause, JD Jesse, OTS, all gas, no brakes with it. Yeah. Thank you, Michael, with the $2 super chat. Caden with the $1.99. Thank you, Caden. Smartest Mark alive with a $5 super chat. Brother, I saw you not at me on X because the recommended showed you in my feed, bro. You said that if you saw JD not like this show that you were done with me. Okay, I see you. By far the best AEW pay-per-view follow-up show AEW's ever done. Tons of story building and intrigue, great matches, All of them made sense for once. No, false. Not everything made sense. What they did with the top of the card was really good, and they made everything matter there. They weaved it out throughout the entire show, and I said multiple times that when you do that, those are the best shows. So next week looks like a banger show. It's set up to be a big deal, and it's going to have ramifications on redemption. That's all we can ask for. You got to be consistent. That's all we want.
Yep.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate you chiming on in here. Let me get some music going here. Smartest Mark alive with a 5. Thank you, brother. Raging Girl Gamer with 67 months. Oh, my goodness. JD, how's it going? Hope all is well. We got a game on Destiny before it goes away. I need Crota's end gear. Yes, me too. Apparently it's broken. We got to get it.
Hey, me too.
You know, I still don't even have the... What is it? The Crota auto rifle. The Necrochasm, I don't have it.
At all? You don't have it?
I don't have it.
I'm down, man.
We got to get it.
I need some of the essence for my... I got to get my catalyst still.
Yeah, I have 7 out of 20 essence.
7 out of
Triple
20.
M, we got to do it, bro.
There he is. Yeah, we need Crota. Crota's probably my favorite raid.
I don't know. Is Crota broke? Which one's broken? Crota or Kingfall? King's Fall, I heard, was broken, right? I think they disabled it in PvP.
They fixed it. They fixed them.
Okay. Rage, I'm glad to see you on Destiny. Hopefully it doesn't go away anytime soon, man. I still play it, you know? I still play it. And I will continue to play it until at least Grand Theft Auto. But
yeah, I think that's going to be about my deadline. I think when GTA hits, I'll be about done collecting and doing everything there is to do in Destiny.
Yeah. I'm going for all the triumphs. I'm going to complete this moment of triumph stuff. And yeah.
I think that's the soft line for most people when GTA 6. I think a lot of people are going to stop playing and go with. I mean, that November is
every game is going to be dead. Every game's going to be dead.
It is.
Which makes me, this is a conspiracy theory of mine. Maybe this is all a planned course of action because GTA is just going to fucking dominate everything. That they killed Destiny 2 off right now only to bring it back when the GTA hype dies down, you know? You think?
We can only wish and hope, man. But so it's been about 10 years between GTA 5 and 6. We may be looking at something similar to that between Destiny 2 and 3. I think we get a Destiny 3, but I think it doesn't come to PlayStation 6.
Yeah. They can't do away with the IP. That would be ridiculous.
I think I think Destiny 3 coming out around the same time as PlayStation 6 is a huge seller for the new concept.
Yeah. Smartest Mark alive with a $10 super chat. AW title scene right now is better than it's ever been, in my opinion. Can we recall a time where there was this much intrigue and legit title contenders? No, man. I got to listen. When MJF is at the top, things are exciting.
Yep.
That's it. It's, Hangman was boring. Swerve didn't really have a fruitful reign. And both are great wrestlers, don't get me wrong. Joe, nothing exciting there. Even Moxley. Moxley was the champion for how long? Nothing. Just a boring run. When MJF's the champion 3 different times, everything's up. There's just something that goes along with it, and it's not a coincidence. Brandon with a $5 super chat. Chance of Hangman return versus MJF and Andrade versus Omega for the title at the pay-per-view because AEW is mentioning a lot of Hangman, and I can see them giving Andrade the title shot. Possibly. Maybe he's the one that cost MJF the title next week. I have no fucking idea. I predicted Foley. Foley being the special guest referee. We'll see what happens.
Why do you keep trying to will Foley into...
I'm not, bro, because Foley's name is in discussion from everybody.
You are the everybody.
I'm not the everybody. Scripps with a 50 months. Why is the World Championship starting AEW? Makes no sense. Because they ended with the World Championship angle to set up next week's title match. This week, I don't mind it. David Rice with a $4.99. Still here in San Diego for Collision. I swear the Death Riders were baby faces in one match, and 20 minutes later, they were heels.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds par for the course there, brother. Thank you, man.
The babyface heel dynamic in AEW is getting more and more confusing.
Yeah.
But I'll give them this much. it does make it a little bit more intriguing as to trying to predict what's going to happen and not happen when we got baby faces and feuds intertwining and mingling and mixing and feuding and not feuding. We got Jay White came out and started talking shit about Will Ospreay, and he's supposed to be a baby face now. That normally doesn't happen like that, you know? So it's kind of weird, but it's kind of intriguing at the same time.
My guy Bastardo with a $5 super chat. I love how you got heated, but more impressed with how you did it respectfully with Vince Russo. That was fun. My two favorite loudmouths. Thank you for all you do, my brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Respect Vince immensely. I would never argue with him in a spiteful or hateful, disrespectful way, and there's no reason to get upset about any of this, man. We're all in this to make some money, and we're all in this to hopefully see things get better. So glad to be a part of that team over there. They got some good things going on over there. Lucha Trooper with 8 months. I would rather see Ospreay versus Omega at All In. Whatever MJF ends up doing, he will turn it into gold. OTS for life. That is true. That is true. MJF is a talented guy. We just want the best for him because he's worked his ass off to get the company back on its feet after just years of struggling, and to pay it forward to him like that, I think is the right idea. Like Jesse said, very, very, perfectly put. Like, he's your guy. Your biggest show of the year, you run with your race, he's your race. He's in the main event. He's your Roman Reigns. Roman's going to main event Mania, MJF main event's All In. Perfectly said.
Yep.
Jay Miller with the $2 super chat. Thoughts on Sony going all digital by 28? I don't collect games like that or collect digital media like that like most people do, but I know it is so precious to so many people. The part that I don't get is when PlayStation 6 inevitably comes on out, you're going to force people to go all digital. And my line of thinking is, Jesse, when I go to Target and I see, a game X, whatever it is, on sale at Target, like $69.99 on sale for a week or two, $39.99. None of that stuff goes on sale the same week that stuff goes on sale in the stores on PlayStation Network. So it's like they're going to force you to buy and pay more money for digital, and you're going to lose the option as a consumer to go buy something that may be cheaper that has a physical copy.
So retailers don't typically put things on sale. It's the manufacturers that do. So if the game goes on sale, then it goes on sale, and it can go on sale by Target as the digital form. You can just buy like the digital code at Target. And the thing about buying it at the store is that you can use like Target store credit and Target things like that you have to purchase other things. You can go to Target and still make the purchase. It'll just be a digital code copy. But if it goes on sale, it's because Sony and them put it on sale, not because Target decided to put it on sale.
Gotcha. To make this decision and then cancel Destiny 2 and end live service like 3 weeks ago in the same month, bro. I mean, I don't know what the fuck they're smoking over there. I really don't.
They're prepping for the next generation. You can tell they're prepping for them. They just told us without telling us that PlayStation 6 will be absolutely all digital, and they're not selling any more hard disk, and they're making their changes now to prep for the next console or rollout.
Yeah, there was so much backlash today that I think they may actually go back and kind of roll that back, honestly. We'll see.
They might. But whenever change is announced, people revolt. If you notice that, nobody likes change.
So if it stays digital, you guys could be looking at, with GTA setting the new foundation, you could be looking at $100 per game.
How many people revolted or are sitting around like they don't buy CDs anymore? Who has a CD player in their car right now?
Bro, I can't tell you the last time I bought a CD. I buy vinyl records now because I just want to collect them, but CDs are a dead technology.
People are complaining, and I get it. Nobody likes change, but this change is inevitable. The digital era is taking over. The only real problem is that at any point someone can just take your collection from you because it's all digital.
Yeah.
And that's the part that sucks. But that's how it's been with music. Everybody's paying for Spotify. Everybody's paying for YouTube Music. Everybody's paying for Apple Music. And at any given point, if the service goes down, you have no more music.
Yeah.
You have nothing. You have nothing. One flick of the switch and you have nothing. That we've been living in this era like this for years now.
Yeah, it's crazy. crazy. Triple M with a $2 super chat. Jesse says, I don't watch Collision, so you have to.
So you have to.
Yeah.
You guys watch
Yeah.
shit.
Francis Lou with a $10 super chat. Hell yeah, Shane Taylor Promotions is a staple of my Ring of Honor Collision brand. Honestly, STP is my favorite black group in all of wrestling because I like their individual identities and Shane Taylor's aura. Shane Taylor has aura?
That hurts in the right. Shane Taylor has a okay. All right.
Francis Loop is here typically watching the shows and donating, but I think he's a little loopy there with that comment. Where are the Hurt Syndicate, by the way?
Not on my TVs on Dynamite.
Nope. Tanmay with 78 months. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Tanmay. The Mother Lover with 1 month. Thank you, The Mother Lover. David Rice with a $5 super chat. The collision was way too long and boring. Only the sickos would stay for that. Bro, I read the card over here just fucking 10 minutes ago, man. I can't imagine who would sit there. I would have gotten up and left. Honestly.
David Rice paid for it.
He's a fucking, he's a trooper, I'll tell you that.
He's a newborn sicko.
There you go. Raging Girl Gamer with a $10 super chat. Vince Russo asks why you watch the show if you hate it, and I'm like, why not? It's your job to give predictions on it. I don't understand why people say that. Rage, the reason why I watch the show is because out of habit. This is my job. I have to. I'm indebted to you guys to give you guys what you deserve and what you pay for. So A, it's part of the job, and C, I watch in hopes of it getting better. If I stop watching and then it gets better, I'm not there to see it get better. I'm not there to see the journey play out. Like, I hate that.
I sincerely don't understand that question. In the sense of anybody who gets up in the morning and gets dressed and goes to work and they hate their job. If you ask that person, well, why do you come here if you hate it? Because it's my job.
Yeah.
It is how I support myself and my family. That's why I come here. So, I mean, that's why most people, you very rarely find people that get up in the morning and say, yes, I get to go to work. Yeah. Woo, let's go. Bro, you get up and do it because it's your responsibility to do it.
Vince says he watches the shows and digests the shows in like 10 to 15 minute clips. I'm like, I wanted to mention this to him, but I gave him that reason about like, if I miss out, then I know it's going to get better when I'm not there. I want to be a part of everything, but I can't digest the shows in 15 minutes because it's not my type of content. Like, I can't do a stream watching 15 minutes of SmackDown. I have to watch the 2 hours of SmackDown to give you guys the streams that you come and enjoy and watch and pay for. So
ask Mr. Russo what his favorite sports team is.
The San Francisco Giants.
Okay, San Francisco Giants. When the San Francisco Giants are not playing well, is he no longer a fan?
Well, no, he's very much a fan, and I use that analogy with the Braves. I use this analogy with him verbatim. I'm like, they won the series in 21. If I stop watching and paying attention all those bad years and all those bounce years out of the playoffs, and then they won the series without me paying attention to the roster and seeing the games and the ups and downs, watching that World Series wouldn't have meant as much as it did to me, because when I did watch all the bad games and then watch them win the World Series, I legitimately cheered up watching them win the World Series because it was so long and it was so worth it. Like, yes, this is the reason why you're a fan.
You take the ups and downs, you take the good with the bad. Do you have children? When your children are misbehaving, are you not proud of them? Do you not want to be their parent anymore? Or do you work with them and do you try to help them to get where they need to be because you love your children? You love your favorite team. You love pro wrestling. See, I remember watching Vince Russo a long time ago before I actually even knew you. And I listened to Russo say that he's not a pro wrestling fan.
No.
He's not a pro wrestling fan at all. This is out of his own mouth. I stopped watching him because why am I paying attention to someone who self-admittedly is not even a wrestling fan? I want to watch other wrestling fans and see what they think about the same product that I'm watching, being a wrestling fan. you have to be a fan of pro wrestling to watch it and critique it. Otherwise, you're just sitting there hating on it. If you have a free, I got a neighbor who's like a big sports guy, big football guy, big macho guy. You mentioned pro wrestling, because get that fake shit out of here. If he sat and watched it, he would sit there and talk shit about it, and I would hate him for it. Why? Because he's not even a fucking fan of it.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of it and you want to critique it because you want to get better, I can fuck with that. I can't fuck with you just hating on it and you don't even like it yourself. Then go fuck off. You don't even like it. Why are you here?
Yeah. Well, that's the answer he gave me, but we all knew that coming in. Don Stoney with $5 super chat. Shout out to Don Tony, Wrestling Soup, Spitball Media, and as always, RIP Kevin Castle. Thank you, Don Stoney. I appreciate you being here every night, brother. Dingleberry with a 5. Sorry I was late, but could miss out a little time with the best of the best of the best. Thank you, Dingleberry. Thank you for being here, man. The Mother Lover with a $5 super chat. I used to watch more of Busted Open with, oh my gosh, everything's great. Now I'm an OTS fan for life. Appreciate you, JD. Thank you, The Mother Lover. Busted Open's doing their thing. Big fan of LaGreca. Raging Girl Gamer with a $9.99. JD is a goon on Iron Banner. I'm going to use Jade Rabbit even more. Yeah. Rage, don't be a geek, okay? Don't be one of those. Dingleberry, what happened?
Wrong with you? It's a PvP weapon.
It is a PvP weapon. It's cheap. It's cheap. Dingleberry with a 5. Sorry, couldn't miss out on the best of the best. Sorry, haven't passed 3rd grade English. And then Francis, a little bit of 5. Hey, JD, where Double or Nothing was held in New Jersey? How far is that from Arthur Ashe Stadium? I still have to finish yesterday's TNT. 2 hours to go. Well, you got timestamps, brother. You can go and navigate as you wish. Double or Nothing was held in Queens. It was at Louis Armstrong Stadium, which is on the grounds of Arthur Ashe Stadium, legitimately within walking distance. They're just doing renovations to Arthur Ashe. It wasn't in New Jersey. I don't know what you're thinking of, but Double or Nothing was not in New Jersey. It was in Queens. Anyway, Jesse, we are about to get out of here. I'm just going to jump on some Iron Banner and play some Destiny. What do you got going on for the 4th of July?
I will be home alone. My
Barbecuing?
No, I don't know. I'm not cooking. Nobody's going to be here but me.
Any block parties with fireworks, drinks? No?
Nah, man. I'm going to be chilling home alone. Probably on Destiny.
There you go.
I'm dog sitting. I'll have my neighbor's dog, but that's it, man. We'll be hanging out and chilling, brother.
There you go. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but we'll figure that out. But thank you guys so much for joining us, man. Really good episode of Dynamite tonight. They got a lot of things right. Obviously, you still got your kind of low points, but the most important stuff they nailed, and I'm excited for next week. Should be very interesting to see what happens with Kenny Omega and MJF for the World Championship. Follow us on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go and follow Jesse on X and on YouTube at Chi-Town Smart. TNT, Monday Night Raw, 2 count. My deal with Vince Russo today on Coach and Bro. Go check all that stuff out. And next time you see me will be Friday Night SmackDown. We got Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso for the #1 contendership for the WWE Championship. The winner wrestles Sami Zayn in Chicago on Monday, July 6th. Will we see the return of CM Punk? We'll figure that out on Monday. Should be a big Monday. But thank you guys so much for a great stream. Again, please hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Dynamite tonight. If you care at all, helps us out when you do that. And again, go check out the content. TNT last night, really good show. We covered everything that you need to over the weekend. A lot of pro wrestling talk. Some great discussion there, so go check that out. Until Friday, guys, enjoy the 4th of July holiday. I'll see you right before then for SmackDown. And we'll do it again on Friday night right here on Off the Script. We'll see you guys later.